Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Ben Cook, co-founder, CEO of New Minds Enrichment. Welcome to NewMinds.tv episode 24. As you may know by now, if you've been tuning in, I always end the day with a little word of wisdom. I try to pull pragmatic nuggets out for you, useful information to help surviving in this crazy time that much easier. And as I mentioned yesterday, we're moving more and more towards this format where we bring on conversations to get that dynamic that comes from, talking to others and kind of being a witness to the spontaneous organic flow of information and insights. To me, that's really important. And today, you're double lucky because not only are you not just listening to me, I've got two very exciting guests joining me today and with a really interesting topic. So I'm going to introduce you guys briefly and then let's just start talking about today's topic, which is financial literacy in the time of COVID. So I just want to start off and say we're kind of like a secret society here because we're all edupreneurs, right? Educational entrepreneurs. And that's why I can relate so well to you guys, having spent years and years in the classroom, just like both of you, but then had that entrepreneurial spark that sent me and of course my co-founder Justin out into the business world is something that we share in common. Now we went a different direction than you, and I'm very excited in a few moments to hear about the spark or the specific passion that led both of you into this area of financial literacy. Okay. But so I'm trying to get my directions right. On my left, so on the right hand side of the screen, we have Derek Wesley, and he is the founder of IMAR Learning Solutions, and can I say creator of the Planet app?
Yes, sir. That'll work. Creator of the Planet app.
Okay. Yeah. So currently actively teaching. That's another cool thing I like about this. Yeah. It's kind of like someone really literally in the trenches right now. On the teacher side, we talked a lot with parents on this show. I've had a couple of interviews, with homeschooling parents and things like that, but I'm excited to have and really pushing this out into the world. And I'll let you, in just a moment, I'll let you talk a little bit more about how you're doing that, how IMAR Learning Solutions seeks to do that. And on my other side, so on the left side of the screen, we have Derek's partner in crime. No, not literally. Richard Carletta.
Never know.
Hi, Ben. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. So you are also kind of a superhuman in the world of education. Just looking at your CV here, you've kind of done it all at different levels. In coaching, training, sales side, management side, account management side, currently working at iStation and partnering with Derek on this new app that we're excited to hear about. So now, my first question, the way I want to launch this is, a lot of teachers have side hustles or passions. They usually have something to do that's like, more of like an artistic leaning hobby or something like that. Mm-hmm. There aren't so many people out there who have financial literacy as like their a driving passion. So either of you or both of you talk to us a little bit about where that comes from.
So Ben, first off, thank you for having us on the show. We appreciate it. And thank you. So as you stated, I'm Derek Wesley, the owner and founder of IMAR Learning Solutions, and still currently teaching and also trying to roll out our Planet mobile financial literacy app. And I'll kind of share with you, shout out to Melissa Middle School, my current school where I'm teaching at. Grade school there, and very passionate also about helping kids take their knowledge to the next level. So back, I would say about 3 years ago, I was teaching in Richardson ISD, and I was the AVID teacher. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination. It's a college and career readiness course, and we got 2 weeks. That's it, 2 weeks to spend on financial literacy. And the kids, that was the most engaged I had seen them the entire school year. Really? And I think because everything we were learning about credit and debit and different things like that, those were things they knew. I need to know this stuff because I see my mom dealing with it. I see my dad struggling with these things, and they were locked in and engaged, and they wanted more every single day. Unfortunately, a lot of the students went home, spoke to their parents about some of the things we were learning in class, and they came back to me the next day and they were like, Mr. Wesley, why doesn't my mom or dad have a checking account? Why doesn't my dad know how to create a simple budget? What's compound interest? And that hurt me. And I was like, well, that's why I'm teaching you guys these things right now, because we want to break this cycle of financial illiteracy that exists in our society today. And so after the 2 weeks, that was it. I had to move on, but I always kept that passion that I want to do something to close this financial literacy gap. So a little bit of time went by, and I noticed that in February 2019, TD Ameritrade, they had an innovation quest, and financial literacy was one of the options. And so I was like, well, I think I have a pretty cool idea. Let's see what happens. So out of 135 applicants, I was one of the top 3. And they flew me out from Texas to San Diego, and I got to present my idea, Planet, to over 2,000 financial advisors, and actually walked away with the grand prize.
Wow.
And it was a fun journey, crazy time, being a reading teacher, an avid teacher.
Yeah.
I'm still learning a lot of things about financial education and being able to express my passion and why financial literacy should be taught in every single school in the United States. They understood that, they appreciated it, and they actually understood it, and they were passionate about it also. So that's how Planet came about, and the different things that we do with IMR Learning Solutions. And I'll pass it on to Richard so he can kind of share his story and how we got connected with this.
Well, thank you. And Ben, thank you again for having us on the show. It was about last August, a few months after Derek had finished that piece in San Diego, and he had come to me with this idea, and he wanted to know my thoughts. I don't think it took too long of a conversation before I think I said, we definitely have to do this. And I got very excited. I had the fortunate opportunity to work with Derek years ago at the same school in Garland, and I was the avid coordinator for that site. And we talked about this every so often because we were both math teachers, and math is our passion. But we noticed that the kids weren't getting a lot of that. And, after the crisis of 08, 09, when that financial crisis fell, we noticed that it still wasn't being taught a lot. And we only got, like Derek said, 2 weeks to really do anything in regards to financial literacy education in the classroom. So from those older conversations, when he approached me, I said, this is a fantastic idea. It needs to be, out there and need to be at the forefront of this. And so it was an idea brought out of passion, and I came on board with the idea.
Yeah, I love that. What I love about your story is that, it's not one of those traditional hot topics. Now, STEM and STEAM, of course, are buzzwords now, for good reason, because it's about a problem-solving approach to the world and an integrated approach to the world. At New Minds, we focus on STEAM. We really are passionate about having the arts and humanities in there. But I feel like this is a really neglected piece of the puzzle. And I mean, of course, math gets its own letter in STEM and STEAM, right? But we don't even, at least I never have really associated that with financial literacy or finances. And what's cool to me is that it's beyond math. There's like a social studies aspect too, which makes it even more STEAM. And like Derek, when you were telling your story, you noticed something ripple through the kids during this unit. It's not what you'd expect, right? You might think like, wow, this literature unit really woke them up, or we did this unit on, history that just opened their eyes to this. But there was a very pragmatic connection to their real world that it seems like that's what they were connecting with. Like they could, schools often criticized for not being practical, not connecting to the quote real world of the kids. But this seems like a case where they were feeling it, and they were making those connections with, like you said, the checking account, and like going home and asking mom and dad, like, wait, what about this? And kind of connecting those dots. And then you had the ability to kind of see that. And it seems like it kind of sparked something in you as well.
And I think that's important, because I always tell my students, hey, I learned just as much from you as you learned from me. And all of my principals that I've ever worked with, they always push, make sure the kids are making real world connections. Make sure that they're able to connect these things in the classroom with their real life. And it really was an eye opener for me, because going into the units, I always would think, okay, they won't like this. This is going to bore them. No, it was completely different. They were like, how do I do this? How do I do that? What's going on now? And especially now with my financial literacy class that I teach currently, there are a lot of different tools online. And so, for example, right now, my students are loving the stock market games that I'm able to find for them to play around with, and their minds are like, whoa, and they're really enjoying it because they know, okay, if I figure this out now, I can actually do something with this in the real world. So yes, I agree 100%.
Yeah, I love that. One thing, I was just kind of, as you were talking, I was making some connections and thinking about pop culture and how sort of finances are portrayed there. And I'm thinking of the movie The Big Short. Have you both seen it? Because Richard,
great movie.
You mentioned the crash of 2008. So that's kind of like the behind the scenes story of sort of the the iffy things that were happening with mortgage speculations and things like that. But just kind of like the way they do the math in that movie made it kind of intriguing and exciting, and it made me think like, wow, why I should know this. You know what? I should, as an educated person, I should know how this stuff works. And so I'm relating a little bit to your students, making that connection. Like, this is the world that I live in. You know, why don't I know this? So I want to make a little bit of a leap now to something like super, super topical. And that is, okay, we're living in the middle of a pandemic now, right? And of course, finances are on people's minds now in a different way. It's more about like, how am I going to make ends meet? A lot of parents are furloughed right now or even laid off, working from home. The situation's really iffy. And on the one hand, common sense might say it's just time to focus on survival and the basics. But I think you both believe that actually it could be an opportune moment to really emphasize these financial literacy skills. Can you guys fill in that gap for us and explain?
Absolutely, Ben. You're 100% right. Going through this crisis right now, people are finding themselves in situations they never imagined in their wildest dreams. And I've heard this equated to just as intense as the Depression in the 30s. I've heard many commentators and pundits, go there. So nobody has really ever lived through this, that is currently with us. So it's something unprecedented for anybody who is dealing with this situation. And facts matter, knowledge matters. And those things combined can reduce anxiety and stress and things of that nature. And also having that knowledge, having that financial literacy knowledge can help you make the best decisions for your family and make those decisions that will impact you in the most positive way through this entire event. And, we're not alone. We're all together in this. But, just back to 0809, many people were going with houses, that were way out of their budget, but it seemed like they could do it because of the way that the banks were positioning certain loans and things of that nature. And I was watching that, and years later I said, being a math teacher, I dropped the ball on that as well. We didn't do enough to prepare people in the education system for that. Unless you went to business school or unless you did a finance degree or something, just K through 12 really didn't do enough. And that's where that exploded. And I'm really passionate about that not happening again and getting this knowledge out to people, not just to students. Students are focused, but also to the family unit. Parents can absolutely download this themselves, and there's no stigma to using the app. Nobody would ever know. You could go in there and take a look at something you might not understand or you might not be fully cognizant about, or whatever the case might be. And there's no judgment. Our app will definitely not judge. And so getting that knowledge could definitely, help and propel your family to a better situation than may have, happened before without that knowledge. The other piece that Derek and I were speaking about yesterday actually was, what are people going to do with this stimulus money that they're getting? That need versus want is very, even my generation is very selfish. I want what I want. I work hard and I should have it. And with that, is that the best way to be thinking right now? Like you mentioned before about survival mode, and should we be putting that away? Should we be doing that? And it depends on each family unit and what's going on. And we're looking to educate as much as we can to help people make the best decisions for their families.
Yeah, so I love this. Point, you guys are framing it as a form of empowerment. It sounds like it's a self-knowledge to create a generation, multiple generations of really informed consumers, so that things like the 08 crash don't happen. As one example. So things like when people do get the stimulus money now in this current situation, that they use it wisely and thinking long term. So for you guys, it's a form of empowerment and education.
Yes.
Is there a particular segment of the population you think is, more or most in need of like a boost, or is it kind of a universal thing? Like aside from the 2%, it's like we all need a boost.
I'll say this, during my time in San Diego, talking to a lot of the different financial advisors, my mind was really open to something. One of the advisors told me that she has a client that had $5 million in her bank account 2 years ago. And she tried to tell her, you need to slow down on your spending. If you don't stop, the money's going to be gone. 2 years later, they're on the phone crying with each other because she only has like $1 million left in her bank account.
Yeah.
And she said, I tried to tell you. And she told me, the financial advisor, that she even spoke with a friend of hers that was a counselor / psychiatrist. And so she can find out what kind of questions do I need to ask her to figure out what is her root problem as to why she's wasting her money so much. And so it really doesn't matter where you come from, because you can blow through your money and waste it on frivolous things, no matter where you're coming from. Now, my advice would be during this crisis right now to really focus on your budget. Okay, if you get this stimulus money, find out, hold on to it first, call all of your bill collectors and find out if you can put a hold on some of your bills for right now and hold on to the money and only spend it on the essential things that you need right now, and make every dollar stretch for as long as you possibly can. Because what I've noticed, there are a lot of companies out there right now that are trying to help us. And so we need to take advantage of those different things, because we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know. Eventually the money might dry up. So you want to make sure you have the funds available that you need to take care of your family.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the anxiety, stress, et cetera, I mean, for just personally and anybody I've spoken to about this situation, is the uncertainty. We really don't know when things is this our new normal? Is this what we are now dealing with for an extremely long time, or are we going to bounce back? Or, not having answers to those questions, creates all of that stress and anxiety. And like you mentioned before, we really are putting this as an empowerment piece to take control and not have the situation control you, but you make the decisions to control all of these things that are happening and come out of it a little better than before. If you didn't have that specific knowledge to be able to, take control. And with this entire situation, if this is our new normal, what does that look like going forward? And Derek mentioned before about getting those stimulus. Where do I put that stimulus money? Should that just go as cash in my mattress, or should that go into a savings account? Or, what should I be doing? What should I be looking for? How do I budget for, the next coming 6 months, et cetera? The great thing about our app is that there's a ton of budgeting tools out there. There are a ton that will link to your bank account and do all of that. Ours is different because of the fact that it has the education piece. You would take a test. Before, the system would find out where your knowledge might be, or where your content level knowledge might be a little lacking, and it would give you those, content presented by relatable characters, relatable figures, NFL stars, et cetera, people who are just as real as them, and give you that knowledge. And then also in real time, connect your bank account, just like Venmo, encrypted, very secure. And let's say when you get to, Derek, I think it's 80% of your budget, correct? It'll notify you.
Yeah, 85%. Once you get there, you get a notification letting you know, hey, Richard, you're close to overspending. Let's look back at some previous lessons, just like in the classroom. When we see, okay, they're getting a little off track, we got to remind them, hey, let's go back and review this because you haven't mastered this yet. And it's broken down into different areas as far as when you create your budget, you set your grocery budget, your leisure budget, your debt, and different things like that. And we help you track it so that you can hopefully make better choices in the future.
Yeah. So we have a question on the live stream that I think is perfectly timed and relevant. So one thing that got my attention when I was reading more about the app when we first met, Derek, was, I think in some of your marketing material, it says from 5 years old to retirement, or basically
Yep.
you're age 5 and up. That got my attention. I'm like, wow, a financial literacy app for a kindergartner? Like that got my
Yep.
attention. And I think that's going to connect here to this question from Doug. He says, do you have advice for a compound savings instrument for students to consider? High yet safe returns can be very exciting and hopeful for savers. So is that part of this, is to build some excitement for these younger people who might be using the app? And you want to build a habit, right? I read a lot about habit
Build a
development.
habit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talk us
And
through
that's one of
piece.
the, go ahead, Ben.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'd love to hear you talk us through. I know, Richard, you mentioned that when you first launch the app, you take some kind of assessment, right? To get it levels you in terms of your financial literacy. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
And then based on
Correct.
that, the app kind of responds to your level of literacy, how much input and prompting you needed. Am I understanding correctly?
Right. So I'll explain how it works.
Yeah,
so
please.
basically, whenever you first log in, you create your account like normal, and you take a short diagnostic assessment in the areas of entrepreneurship, budgeting, and financial psychology. And the app builds out a personalized curriculum for each user. And yes, you can be as young as 5 all the way up to retirement age. And of course, if you're a child, you're going to get child-friendly material. If you're a teen, you're going to get teen-friendly, and also adult. And I thought that was important because everyone's on a different level, different age groups. But in a perfect world, I would want financial education to be taught in elementaries. And because I have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they're asking me questions already about how money works. And so the app builds out a personalized curriculum with lessons, articles, and videos. And as Richard mentioned, each month we try to feature a new financial leader or an NFL star. We're working with Jedediah Collins. He just launched his book, Your Money Vehicle. Amobi Okogu, he's the founder of A Frugal Athlete. He's a professional soccer player. And we have many other people trying to come on board right now to create content for us. And I thought that's important also because we want our material to be engaging. We don't want kids to be bored. We've been in the classroom as teachers and we see kids bored. And also for parents, we want things that they can relate to. And you're also able to create your budget. As Richard also mentioned, just like Venmo, Cash App, we have partnered with Plaid to keep everything safe and secure for you. And you can link your checking, savings, and investment portfolio, and you'll get those notifications if you're close to overspending. And I wanted my users to be able to learn on the app and also apply what they're learning and get that feedback so that they can make better decisions going forward.
Speaking of relatable content, I just saw yesterday, and it reminded me of this. There is a commercial going around, and I believe it's by NerdWallet, and there is a younger female character asking her father for some credit card advice, and he says to her, "I believe, should I leave my cards where they are, or compound them all to one on a 0% interest?" And the father comes back and says, "Well, the camel with the biggest hump." I just picked up. It had nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, they need our app." They
Okay.
definitely, because with all of that and inputting that information and it being linked to your checking account or and other accounts, you can ask the app for assistance or ask that question or go to that topic and find out credit card and get that answer from the same app that you're doing everything in already. So, in speaking with Derek, I remember his vision of making it a one-stop shop for financial education as well as, but relating it to real time, what's going on in your accounts now.
Yeah.
And I thought that was just innovative and fantastic.
Yeah, beautiful.
And another important part too, we've partnered with Sensei Education, and they provide all the content for the app. I'm not a financial expert, but like I said, I'm learning as I go a lot of different things. And so I lean on them for their content, and it's aligned with all of the school curriculum and standards and different things. And I thought that was very crucial to have so that my users can know that it's safe and secure, and the content that they're getting, that it's good content that's certified and ready to go.
Yeah. So the app is called Planet, by the way. I don't know if we ever mentioned that directly. I have a link. Anyone viewing now can see a link to the website right there, planet.finance. So if let's say I'm a parent listening, watching this now, and I've got some kids. Maybe I've got a younger child. I've got a teenager. What's the recommended next step? Should I go do it myself first to get the experience? Is it a separate instance of the app that each of my kids will have?
So each user can create their own account within the app, just like any other app, and with their specific username. Let's say my 7-year-old puts in his information. He's going to be asked to put in his birth year, and then he'll get content specific to him. And if I go into the app with my account information, I'll get adult content for me. And so that's how everything is separated for the users.
Yeah, beautiful. Hey, I have another question from Doug. It's a follow-up. We never directly answered him. Let's see. He says, so current savings rates are still very slow to increase. Compounding is a mind-blowing reality, but where can kids find it? So will some of the content lessons embedded in the Planet app, I'm assuming that compounding is one of the major, principles of finance that they'll learn in those lessons. Is that right?
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's something where Sensei definitely comes in at, because we pay attention to different things like that. So we're going to upgrade the app with quizzes. And so users will be able to take quizzes on certain specific topics like that. And say, for example, they're not doing well, then we're going to feed the app more content like that. And like Richard said, you can specifically go on and search for the specific content that you need to help you improve in those different areas. And we'll be paying attention to, okay, our users need more of this, and then we're going to provide that inside of the app.
Yeah. So going off of Doug's question, in the app, I would want to search for interest or compounding interest. You can do that in the app. So there definitely is content in there that will address specifically that. And I mean, there are recommendations, and things like that. Markets change. We're trying to give the education, the knowledge, for the user to empower them to make their decision for themselves, not give recommendations. Right now, the Fed is, put it here. The interest level is here. Right now we suggest, putting it here. Teach a person to fish, they'll eat, and they'll eat for the rest of their lives. And that's pretty much what we're aiming to do. So definitely content is there in regards to interest rates, compounding interest, et cetera, and addressing just that.
Yeah, beautiful. And so people can find this in the App Store, like where they would find any other app?
Yes, it's available for iOS and Android, just like any other app.
And I know you do some specific work with schools, but if I'm just a regular Joe dad here and I want to go get it, I can go find it myself and just get it, correct?
Yes, you can download it. So how we have it set up is each first set of lessons free. The budgeting tool is free, and to unlock your full curriculum is $9.99 per month. But that budgeting tool is always free.
Okay, that's fantastic. Do you have any? I'm really curious to hear now about an example or a case study or an anecdote of one of the app users, and just an insight or breakthrough that they've had. Do you have any stories yet to share? I know it's still pretty young.
It's still pretty brand new, but I've been testing it as I've been developing it, and I won't use any specific names, but the young man that's been testing it out for me, he's grown from, recently graduated from college. And so dealing with student loan debts and all of these different things, brand new job. And so he uses the app consistently, and it's helping him change his mind, helping him to make better decisions about where to put his money. I have this new job, what now? And so he always uses it. He loads up the budget and tries to track his budget to stay on track every month. Not always successful.
Sure.
Things have changed for a lot of people right now. And so it changes lives. And that's my whole goal, to be able to help people make better financial decisions and learn and grow. Just like you might struggle a little bit in the beginning, but we'll help you get to that next level.
Yeah, I love
I would definitely say our company is mission specific. We're absolutely mission specific and we're very passionate about this, about getting this out and getting this out to people to give them the knowledge and the empowerment that they need. And so having a company built on a mission specific platform is just so gratifying and fantastic for us to try to make a change and try to make a difference. Yeah,
I love that. I love how you guys are framing it too, not just in terms of empowerment, but like by shining light on this often murky subject, you're taking away fear and anxiety, you know, and,
Yep.
you know, I talk a lot about, you know, the nervous system. And when we're in a state of anxiety, our sympathetic nervous system has us in fight or flight. And I think sometimes money and money worries have a lot to do with that. So, you know, one way of thinking about financial literacy is reducing that anxiety in general, and
Yep.
more calm people is a better world for sure, without a doubt.
And trying to
Yeah.
limit, you know, and I've read so many articles about, you know, spouses, their significant others, about arguments and things like that are based on money because of that fight or flight, because of that anxiety. Maybe we can make family units better and, you know,
I
get them
like
to function.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've got
Love
your
it.
contact posted here. I want to remind people they can find you on Twitter at Planet by Imar. And then they can email you
Planet by
directly.
Imar.
The email address is right there, planet@moby@gmail.com. And then, of course, the big link there is to the main site. So I'm just full transparency. I'm going to personally go get it and institute this and take advantage of this time to dig into my own personal
Fantastic.
financial relationship and literacy. And I'll
Man.
check out the lessons. And I can't wait to link up all my accounts and see how this sort of supports me through that. So
Yeah.
it's definitely an
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. So I want to
Thank
thank you guys for joining the call and sharing your wisdom and insight in general. And you know, you did it altruistically just to kind of help everybody out. And then the fact that you have this awesome platform is just a bonus. So I hope people will go explore and check it out, whether it's individuals, whether we have school representatives here listening and realize that this could be a good addition or layer to their curriculum. I think that would be a wise choice. But I'll catch you guys. How about this? I'll follow back up with you after a few weeks of using the app. Maybe we can do a follow-up call and go deep.
Let's do a follow-up
Absolutely.
call. Love it.
That'd be great.
All right. Any parting words you guys want to share about what families can do in kind of this crazy moment in terms of financial literacy?
Ooh.
I mean, I would say just hold on, just stay strong, hang in there. We're going to get through this together, guys. And so that's why we're having conversations like this right now and sharing our information and our knowledge and our tools. And it's opened up a lot of doors for a lot of different people. So just stay strong, go learn as much as you can. We have the app available, and just don't give up. We're going to get through this together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Resiliency. Absolutely. So we won't show everybody the secret handshake of the secret salute of the edupreneurs, but we'll just say we're a special tribe. I know there's more of us out there as well doing great things in the world. And
Ben, you weren't supposed to mention the handshake.
Yes, now everyone's going to be asking us about it now.
That's all right. So, hey, thanks again, guys. Have a fantastic evening. I'll see you on the other side, and take care. Stay healthy.
You
Bye.
too. Stay safe.
Okay.